Right, good morning everyone. If you're watching this video, it is because the 35th anniversary of The Legend of Zelda has passed with absolutely no news on a possible LEGO tie-in. As some of you may remember, the first video I ever posted on this channel was a theory about why I thought that the 35th anniversary was the main crux for why LEGO Zelda sets were happening this year. And if you're watching this, it's clearly because I have decided that I must be incorrect. Now, this is not an apology for getting it wrong. All theories are circumstantial at best, and as I said, I was only 85% sure, although I was still pretty sure. And this is obviously sort of interesting to try and think about. So the first thing I'd like to mention today, before we get into the logical next steps for when these sets could possibly release, is to ask you guys down in the comments to leave me a logical reason why this crossover didn't happen this year. I've run through every almost scenario in my head in order to bring you guys the most logical possible timeline for the future, and I genuinely cannot find a huge decent reason. I'd like you guys to try down below, and I will counter every argument if I can. And if not, then we found the reason, and I'll make a follow-up explaining that as the reason why it didn't happen. So we're going to run through a timeline, and you're going to see this appear on your screen, hopefully. And what we're going to do is we're going to go through the most logical scenarios about if they are planning on making sets, when they will come out over the next 4-year period. Because now that they didn't come out this year, I have a lot more thoughts about what's going on. And I'm going to keep this fairly impartial. Obviously, this could be a very emotive subject if I wanted it to be. I'm very passionate about the making Legend of Zelda sets. However, I wanted to keep this as logical and impartial as possible. So first up, we've got to talk about what happened this year. Now, obviously, I had predicted that the summer of 2021, linking in with the anniversary and 1 year after the LEGO Mario sets, was the most likely and most sensible opportunity, and I still believe that that is the case. And obviously, due to LEGO's historic reputation with bad marketing, like releasing sets just 1 day after that they are announced, similar to what happened with Ninjago City and Diagon Alley, although those were bigger sets, there is always the chance that this set is slated for a late summer release, and we just won't see it until the day before. However, the lack of leaks and the launch of those preliminary images a couple of days ago really does suggest that LEGO is clearly not doing anything this summer. I also thought it's worth pointing out that there is like a 0.5% chance that the big D2C from Nintendo Lego in the summer could just not be a Super Mario set. I know it's been said to be a Super Mario set, but we could all hope that it just isn't, so that would be great as well, but that's the most least likely opportunity on here. The third option for this year is there is still a very, very small chance that this is slated for some sort of an October release, and that would just be to coincide with whenever Nintendo decides to do its anniversary kind of push for Zelda, as obviously they're still on Mario, and that will continue into March. Okay, so it's not happening this year. All of the remaining options are very unlikely or very stretched at the very least, and I think it's important that we acknowledge that at this point. But that's okay, this gives you time to save up for some other sets. I'll keep working on my custom set showcase. Hopefully we'll get to Wave 3 before they release official sets now. But let's go into the actual predictions. So, the next wave after summer 2021 is the winter of 2022 wave, coming out on January 1st of 2022. Now this is the next big opportunity for a LEGO Zelda crossover, and the reason this one has gone up in my books of likelihood is mainly because of what Nintendo have done with the anniversary preparations. Now, when they did Mario's anniversary is going to end in March of this year, meaning that the Zelda celebrations probably won't start until something like May. Now, logically, they would have gone for summer 2020, but LEGO likes being late to the party and Nintendo may have put a barrier on it. Therefore, winter 2022 is the next most likely option. However, again, it still feels like a stretch. Winter 2022 is also currently my favourite because I personally cannot believe that they worked with Nintendo in partnership for 5 years while 3 Ideas projects got to 10k based off Zelda, and they didn't once consider, why don't we make sets and just hold them back to see if Mario's been successful. It's been over a year. Mario has won 2 Toy of the Years, has been incredibly popular, as a system, and I think it's about time that we start to see their next steps appear. So Winter 2022 feels spaced out enough from Mario in a way that Summer 2021 was just not quite. So this could be the next best option, especially considering it will still be in the 35th anniversary year. If they didn't make sets this year, in my opinion, this means, and logically, just flat out, it means that they did not make Mario Zelda sets in those first 5 years, and that they didn't start thinking about Zelda until after Mario released shelves to initial positive reception. If sets were released in summer of 2022, this would be exactly 2 years after the Lego Mario release. And that is important to note because 2 years is the average expected development time for a Lego set, although we have known sets to be rushed out in about a year. So either summer 2022 or winter of 2023, so that's 1st of January 2023, are the two most likely candidates if they didn't make sets until Mario was a proven hit initially. The same could also be said for summer of 2023, but if we haven't got sets by then, we have to start considering other options. Okay, so as I've just mentioned, the full development cycle of 2 years from Mario's success would end in summer of 2023. I know that seems like a long way off, but we have to think it. If we haven't seen an official product line by then, we'd one have to consider that something else has gone on. If something else has gone on, there is also a couple of options here. One is that Nintendo never put Zelda on the table, and there is still some sort of bad blood from that bad licensing scuffle the other time, like back in the 80s, I think it was. Or Lego have decided that it is not suitable as a brand value. There are a couple of reasons why this seems unlikely, and the main one being that the project is still allowed on ideas and they've never really turned their nose up because of the content in the theme. However, with things getting so unlikely and them missing so many major opportunities, unless they're reliant on Mario's success, we do have to consider that there is about a good 5 to 10% chance now that LEGO has decided that there are too many religious connotations or too many connections to war and they are never going to produce LEGO Zelda sets. In response to that, I'd like to say, if this is your decision, then okay, I kind of understand. I don't really, and I will make plenty of content about it, and I'll probably even write to you if that's the case. But I would have expected something better than your statement last year with Mario when you said other IPs are on the table. Therefore, if this is the case, I want a statement soonish telling us that it's never going to happen. I'd rather know rather than consistently hoping for the next 3 years when there is still a chance. Because personally, if we're waiting till 2023 and it doesn't come out by summer of that year, then it's never happening. And that is the conclusion I'd like to bring with you. The Lego Zelda license to me is on borrowed time. Winter of 2021, 2022 even, is still the most likely candidate. But after that, if we don't see anything by the summer of 2023 and they haven't declared that it's inappropriate, they have just chosen that they never want to do it or Nintendo has not let them do it. And that's something interesting. That is the last branch of our tree. So I think it fairly much sums up that the most likely candidates are winter of 2022 and summer of 2023. Now, obviously, it could appear anywhere in between. This is just a theory follow-up, and really, I can be incorrect all the time. But I thought it would be interesting to take a logical look at, impartially, at this topic, considering how important it is to me, as well as how shocking it was that we didn't see anything for the anniversary this weekend, as well as the preliminary leaks of the summer, just not showing any signs of an unknown theme, any signs of Nintendo activity outside Mario. And while it's a shame, it gives me time to focus on the custom set showcase, time to afford the Colosseum as well, and some other bits as well. So we can't all see it as a negative, but I thought it would be best to warn you. If we don't see anything by 2023, it's never happening. And on that somber note, I'll see you in the next one. Consider subscribing, and I hope you're all looking forward to Wave 2. Bye-bye.